It's hard to imagine that Endgame only came out a few months ago and is already in theaters again, and already we have another Spider-Man movie. Journey takes our favorite web slinger abroad, hence the name Far From Home, although I think it is quite obvious the title has a double meaning. Plot is simple and straight to the point. Peter is struggling with issues involving the death of Tony Stark and balancing a superhero life with his real life. When his vacation seems to be going to plan, Nick Fury, along with another delightful cast member, Mysterio, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, enters the stage. Their goal is to take down these elementals. Elementals from somewhere, and they're very strong, apparently. But yeah, that's the plot point for this movie. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into spoilers, considering most people know the basic plot of the movie since it's shown in the trailer, and get right down to what made and broke this movie. So if you don't want this movie spoiled, I would highly recommend checking out another video or just coming back after you've seen the movie. So pretty much right away we're at the 5 years after Endgame, I believe it is, and they are showing the effects of what they call the blip, what we know as the snap they call the blip. They're showing how people are adjusting to it, maybe trying to learn from it, and also going through some complications with relationships, like people that were in a relationship and their partner got snapped and now is back. What happens when they got into a relationship when their partners got snapped and they came back? These are things that theorists and myself included really thought about, but did not know if they were going to touch up on it, and boy, did they really touch up on it. For the most part of the movie, you're going to be with Peter's friends, which can be a turnoff to some audience members having to deal with youngsters, as they say, that much. And honestly, there's not too much Spider-Man in this movie. Now that I'm thinking about it, there's only a few instances when I can say, oh wow, that was cool, and it was Spider-Man. Other than that, it seems to be focusing more on the Quentin Beck character and the Quentin Beck plot, which I hope you all know what was going towards. So Spider-Man is struggling as a hero and doesn't know if he wants to be a hero and just be a normal boy, which we've seen in the comics a lot, his struggle between his personal life and his hero life. So I am glad that they touched on that in a way that we, as comic book readers, could relate to. He ended up seeking the guidance of Quentin Beck in absence of Tony Stark, and Tony Stark has actually left him these glasses, which will be a major plot point, kind of a MacGuffin, as you would say. I forget the name that was on the glasses, but if you said the name, it would give you all Stark technology, control over Stark technology, and all this crazy high-tech stuff that it'd be crazy to let a kid have, but he did it. Peter eventually gets recruited by Nick Fury by force when he goes on vacation. This is done in a number of comical ways of Nick Fury finding out a way to make Peter go where he wants him to go, and this plays off well. And I do love Samuel L. Jackson and seeing him in his Nick Fury role. We get this expositional plot on how Quentin was from another Earth, that he got here from the snap, apparently, and he's helping fighting these elementals that were on his Earth that he says destroyed his Earth. And pretty much the plot is Spider-Man and Mysterio and Nick Fury want to destroy these elements, or elementals. Quentin Beck starts off as a very lovable character, and with the advertising for this movie, and knowing Marvel, everybody was like, "Oh, well, he's gonna be a good guy," and that's a twist because Mysterio is a bad guy in the comics. Well, Marvel did the old switcheroo, and Mysterio is a bad guy. Quentin Beck in the comic books is a notorious liar, and he's just very good at it, and that's what he likes to do, along with illusions and machinery. Quentin Beck takes this trust that he has with Peter Parker, and Peter Parker hands him over the glasses that Tony Stark gave him, the ones that can control everything Stark related. In my mind, this was just a completely out of character move for Peter Parker. The last thing that Tony Stark gave him, and it's one of the most highly sophisticated things that he could have given him, and with the amount of power you have with those glasses, or sunglasses, so to say, I don't think he would have handed those over so easily like he did. And that being the MacGuffin, when it gets transferred to Quentin shows his evil side and basically uses the glasses to control every single military drone that Tony Stark has up in orbit. And he uses these drones to further his illusions, is what I was gathering. Like, there was thousands of drones all serving some type of purpose towards this illusion, and the illusions being the elementals. And I think the motivation for Mysterio was that he just wanted to pull a fast one on people, pull a fast one on Nick Fury, pull a fast one on S.H.I.E.L.D., look like a hero but not be a hero. Like, it did not seem like his intentions were evil in a way. Eventually, Peter finds out a way to overcome the drone problem with his webs and massive agility, and ends up finding Quentin with his rudimentary headset, not like his fishbowl headset, and beats the ever-living pulp out of him. No, he doesn't beat the ever-living pulp out of him, but he does beat him, and the shocker ending is when he beats him, Quentin is handing over Tony Stark's glasses to him while he's on the ground. And in a turn of events, Peter recognizes that Quentin is always going to be a liar and assumes that he's an illusion, which he is right, and the real Quentin is behind him with the gun ready to shoot him. Now, some big takeaways with this movie is not just the relationship between Peter and Spider-Man, but with Mary Jane. Some of these scenes really give you weight and emotion that this kid just wants to experience some normal young adult things. I do personally feel like they could have balanced it out better for stronger pacing, but I have suspicions that the writers were in a metaphorical corner since they were writing a Spider-Man script following Endgame. Now, the acting, like in most Marvel movies, except for Captain Marvel, is excellent. Everybody in this movie is given it their all, and Tom Holland and Jake Gyllenhaal just steal the show. And it's hard to remember that you're watching actual people and not these superheroes on the big screen. So I found that pretty delightful, that it didn't take me out of the movie at all, acting wise. Now, for the bread and butter of the video, how did I feel about this movie? Now, I love Marvel movies, and I loved Infinity War and Endgame, but I kind of swore to myself that I would be done with superheroes after Endgame. I broke that rule because I was just so enticed to see what they would do next. And I have to say that I found this Spider-Man sequel to be lackluster. It didn't throw me for any loops. It didn't make me go, oh wow, that's crazy. Other than the Mysterio illusion scenes, which only lasted 5 minutes max, I really just feel, not inspired or anything like I would be with a normal Marvel movie walking out. So, with everything said, I think I will be giving Spider Man Far From Home a 6 out of 10. If you are a follower of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or just love superheroes, or just popcorn flicks, I would definitely recommend this movie. And just don't be expecting anything too groundbreaking or anything that's going to subvert your expectations. But you will have fun, and I hope you do. Thank you. This has been CriticZeal, and I will see you next time.